Hello, welcome to Gwen Horizons, episode 52 review. And what can I say about it? It's a Roy and Wattrel focused episode, so to speak. But I guess since I'm reviewing it, it's about how Wattrel's coming to terms with how weak its flight is and how it can't necessarily help in ways that Fuecoco can. Like, you know, Roy's looking at a captured kid for his report, and Fuecoco is able to bring him loads of berries to give to it. So Wattrel tries to grab one, but by the time it's done that, Fuecoco's been able to grab more berries, as it has more free hands, and it's just able to carry more in general. And Wattrel isn't able to get up a tree as it has weak flight. And on top of that, Fuecoco runs up a tree with Flame Charge, which doesn't help with Wattrel's mood. That night at camp, Roy is trying to think about how he can help Wattrel as it struggles in tough winds and gives up on flying, and wants to help it with his confidence. Wattrel sneaks out that night to train. I love that Roy tries to connect with Wattrel through his singing. Wattrel obviously feels a bit embarrassed at first, as he tries to hide from Roy and Fuecoco, and they really want to amp him up and make him forget his worries, but they keep on telling him not to give up and go for it. Wattrel doesn't really seem too into it though as it starts walking off. So they can get a forest haunting, as the atmosphere suddenly changes and suddenly Houndstone approaches, who just ends up being a good boy and belongs to gym leader Rhyme. She's used so well here, as first she could hear the passion in Roy's song and gets to read on Wattrel's thoughts almost immediately. She can tell that he's running away from his fears instead of facing them head on and decides to rap for them, pushing them to face their fears to grow stronger. We find out that she's here as she's tracking down a Pokemon not of this world. She takes interest in the fact that Roy's doing a report for the academy and has a quick talk with Fuecoco as she realises it's got a fire in it, and tells it to keep going before vanishing. To be honest, seeing Rhyme in the preview I was wondering how she'd be used, and they did a really good job here without even saying that she's a gym leader. She gave helpful advice to Wattrel, she started into the story perfectly, and I think it's pretty obvious she'd be Roy's next challenge, which I'm all good with. So the kids get back to their reports the next day with Fuecoco still being a bit of a pro when it comes to getting berries, and notices Wattrel pick up a tree and gets a berry for it, which annoys Wattrel when they scrap again, and Wattrel runs off as Roy scolds him as they look for Wattrel. They see the captured kid that Roy's been following falling down a cliff, so Roy goes to save it. Roy accidentally causes a landslide which freaks Fuecoco out and Wattrel comes to investigate. Roy approaches Capsule Kid, who fights back in fear, but Roy connects with it, as he likes the spicy flavour as Capsule Kid fires spicy seeds at him, and it realises that Roy actually does just want to help, especially after Roy uses Rhyme's rap, which Wattrel also hears again. Wattrel decides it wants to help Roy get Capsule Kid back up, as Roy can't climb one-handed. It has to fight fierce winds and running river below, but it tries to face its fear, getting blown back, but it keeps going, taking Capsule Kid and making it to the top, seemingly having beat its fear and mastered its flight. Dot and Liko have been guided over to the cliff as well by Hatena and Florigato just in time to see Roy trying to scale a cliff facing against harsh winds, who absolutely panic and tell him to stop, and eventually Roy loses his footing. No one can do anything, but Wattrel rushes in and in a rainbow light it starts to evolve, so Roy is starting to hold on to as they soar through the skies, flying around the area as the other people and Pokemon look on, landing shortly after with a little hug. The kids begin the next stretch of their journey with Killer Wattrel flying overhead and Fuecoco jumping around. Killer Wattrel lands and picks up Fuecoco and they fly off as Roy smiles on. The episode ends with a shot of an Annihilate. So, the evolution, I will say I do wish we got a little bit more Wattrel action. Before it happened, I can't say I'm really opposed to it happening at all. Of all the secondary Pokemon the kids have, Wattrel did do the most, and I think representing its remaining flight struggles at the mental hurdle is great, especially since the Wattrel family is a line that thrives off a wind. You have to have Wattrel face or embrace its fears and it becomes stronger, as Rhyme said it would. Overall, I think it's an incredibly well done evolution, especially as it happens to help Wattrel save his trainer, which I'm always a sucker for. My desire to see more Wattrel is because I think it's cute and Killer Wattrel is such an insanely cool Pokemon that I'm going to be happy seeing in action. It actually just recently made my top 10 Pokemon list, so I need to see it in fight already. In general, I think this is a strong episode. It had a good basis for Wattrel getting to a point it did, had them find out a way to overcome what they're struggling with and forcing them into a situation that would force Wattrel to face its fears head on or lose Roy. And saving Roy from a drop is so fitting because when Roy caught Wattrel, Wattrel was falling too after Strong Wind blew it down, so it'll come back to the point where the relationship started to begin the next phase of it. Wattrel, I miss your cute baby bird form, but Killer Wattrel, I'm so excited to see what comes from you. I also really need to mention, thank you very much for 1,000 subscribers. That's kind of unbelievable to me because it's I don't know, I just kind of rambling, you know, I'm just going off the top of my head most of the time. So the thought that you know, there's 1,000 people that I potentially to listen to that's amazing. I really thank you for that.